13 Action News. Good morning, Las Vegas.
Right now at 5, a Metro officer continues to fight for his life after getting shot Monday night. This morning, how the community is showing support for Shay Miquelones.
And Clark County commissioners are voting on an ordinance today that would ban certain items on future demonstrations. We'll have more details on that coming up.
Plus, ready for anything, the local businesses boarding up in case protests turn violent. And extending the people mover, new reports say Elon Musk is in talks to add stops on the Strip. A lot to get to this morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Good Morning Las Vegas. I'm Kalina Estrinos, and let's get straight to the heat today. Justin Bruce joining us live from home right now. So it's just, common conversation now. It's hot, triple digits. It's not going away anytime soon. What do you got?
Yeah, it's a pretty good conversation starter around these parts from now through like September. Pretty hot outside, huh? And it will be. We're starting off fairly mild in the 80s, and we do have a mostly cloudy sky. Looks like those clouds have kept our temperatures elevated a couple degrees, so we're 84 at the moment at McCarran. Looked a little breezy in Nina's live shot up toward downtown. But in most places, it's going to be a quiet, calm morning. We're up to 104 this afternoon. Ooh, the heat more intense than it has been the last couple of days. Here's our 13-hour forecast. Plenty of clouds, especially this morning. And as we head into the afternoon, we'll look for a few more peaks of sun, but that will allow temperatures to climb past 100. Interesting to see what appear to be a couple of sprinkles on Desert Doppler this morning. Looks like that chance of a sprinkle will stay on the low side, but we can't rule it out. Kalina, we'll talk about even worse heat that's coming our way tomorrow next.
All right, let's head out the door and see what your roadways are looking like so far. We had some construction earlier, but any of the construction that you see out there, you just have to pay attention to those detour signs and head around the area because they're not really causing any type of backup. Just might be a little headache if you're trying to head through those areas. Overall, though, we are crash-free this morning. Time now, 5:01. Right now, Metro officer Shay Miquelones is fighting for his life. And this morning, a memorial outside of Circus Circus, where the officer was shot overnight Monday, continues to grow to honor the 4-year Metro veteran. Last night, for the 6th night in a row, protests held right here in the Valley continued on behalf of George Floyd. But unlike the previous nights, many of last night's demonstrations remained peaceful. 13 Action News anchor Marissa Kinnison joining us live right now outside of UMC, where the community there is showing support for the officer. Marissa?
Yeah, of course, Metro Police here behind me, you can see their lights, but I want to push in here and you'll be able to see that signs and candles have started to grow here right in front of the hospital. That's to show support for that officer inside as he fights for his life. 29-year-old Shay Miquelones remains on life support this morning after police say a 20-year-old man shot him in the head during Monday night's protests. Detectives revealing they were able to track down the suspect at a motel across the street from where the shooting happened. He is now facing several charges, including attempted murder of a police officer. The community continues to rally around Metro. Billboards have popped up around the city to show support for the officer's recovery. Some people even gathered at the crime scene yesterday.
There was people out there praying, for the officer at Circus Circus, and out there we all kind of held hands, same as similar to here, and prayed for a miracle for this officer.
Last night, about 200 peaceful protesters walked around UNLV chanting Black Lives Matter and Say His Name. Protests have begun peacefully every night, but usually violence increases in the later hours. Thankfully, we did not see many reports of that last night. And as for Officer Miquelones, several people have stopped by the hospital to drop off items for him. And again, that the signs and candles here outside continues to grow. At last check, that officer is still in grave condition this morning. Marissa Kinnison, 13 Action News.
All right, Marissa, thank you so much. We have new details this morning on a separate incident involving police Monday night. Police have now identified the armed man who was shot and killed near the federal building in downtown Las Vegas. Police say 25-year-old Jorge Gomez had 3 handguns and one was converted into a carbine. They say he ignored an order to disperse and instead advanced towards officers. Officers say they then fired less than lethal rounds from a shotgun. Police say Gomez threatened those officers and raised a gun. Officers then shot him and he later died at the hospital. And local leaders right now are reacting to the violence that took place against police after demonstrations on Monday. Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman says the tragic incidents from Monday's unrest are still under investigation and any more detailed comment awaits until those facts are better known. Governor Sisolak also speaking out, saying in part, "I am praying for the LVMPD officer who was senselessly shot Monday. There's no place for this behavior in Nevada. I'm praying for all of the communities across Nevada who are experiencing grief and pain right now. Violence has no place in our communities, and we must all work toward peaceful solutions together." And we caught a sweet moment on camera. This here is video from outside of UMC on Tuesday, where a Metro officer there, like we mentioned, is still in grave condition after the shooting that happened on Monday. Now, this man here that you see toward the center of your screen, his name is Londell, and he stopped by to bring the officers that were outside some donuts. Now, Londell says his heart hurts because of what happened, and he wanted to take some action. Well, today, Clark County Commissioners will consider a new ordinance after protests in our city turned violent for several days in a row. And we have 13 Action News anchor Nina Porciuncula joining us live right now from Clark County Government Center with details on the emergency meeting. Nina?
Well, in just a couple of hours, Clark County Commissioners are going to be in this building right here to discuss a possible ban on backpacks, purses, and other similar items that could possibly conceal weapons during protests. Now, this is similar to the ban that we typically see in big events like New Year's Eve on this strip. The City of Las Vegas Council is also meeting this morning to discuss enacting bans on backpacks and other items at protests and in certain locations. North Las Vegas has also announced similar plans, scheduling an emergency session with the same regulations on the agenda this afternoon. The ordinance from Clark County says it's needed because of the violence seen during the recent protests regarding the death of George Floyd in Minnesota. There have been several nights of unrest and violence following peaceful protests here in the Valley. During a press conference yesterday, Metro said violence has escalated each night with property damage, fireworks, and people pouring gasoline on police cruisers. And so far, more than a dozen officers have been injured while covering protests here in the Valley. Now, back out here live, the Clark County Commissioners will be meeting right here again at the chambers. That's starting at 8:55 a.m. and we will be right here covering that one for you, bringing you the latest on the air and online at ktnv.com. And of course, the latest will also be brought to you live at midday starting at 11 a.m. But for now, reporting live, Nina Porciuncula, 13 Action News.
All right, Nina, thank you so much. Some community leaders right now are calling for a curfew in Las Vegas after the Metro police officer was shot Monday night. And that includes Las Vegas City Councilman Stavros Anthony. He's a retired police captain, and he's also demanding for the prison in Jean to be used as a holding facility for all violent protesters. New video of plywood being installed right now over windows of stores at the North Premium Outlets. This comes as stores around Las Vegas brace for potential damage and looting as protests continue. Now, about 25% of the stores there have some sort of wood barriers on their windows. More have their metal gates pulled down. Police have a message for those who choose to cause damage.
And when they're committing crimes like that, we will be taking them to jail. We have been taking them to jail. As their aggression changes, our resolve only becomes that much more clear. We are simply not going to tolerate this kind of unlawful behavior. We will arrest you, and you will go to jail.
Like you just heard, police are promising to arrest anyone who does not come in peace. More than 25 officers have been hurt during the protest. And U.S. Attorney's Office has a warning for what they're calling criminal instigators. If people are found taking over a peaceful protest with violence and looting, they could face federal charges. U.S. Attorney Nicholas Trutanich for the District of Nevada says, quote, defying those peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights and diverting focus away from the legitimate outrage over Mr. Floyd's death are unacceptable. Well, Elon Musk reportedly wants to extend his People Mover tunnel. Clark County Commissioner Tick Seegerbloom says Musk has asked the county for permission. It'll extend the tunnel to the Wynn and Resorts World. The People Mover is designed to take guests around the convention center in just over a minute, and right now it is still slated to debut in January 2021. And today you'll be able to walk along the Fremont Street Experience. The pedestrian mall reopens at 9 a.m. Some casinos in the area will also start to reopen tomorrow. Right now there is a countdown clock at the Viva Vision canopy counting down to 12:01 a.m. and that's the exact moment casinos can reopen. And in hopes of getting people back to the Valley, Sahara Las Vegas is waiving resort fees. It applies to all room reservations made today through June 30th, and it's valid for reserve stays starting this Thursday through May 31st, 2021. And MGM Resort says the Excalibur will be open June 11th. The Bellagio, MGM Grand, New York, and Signature will all reopen tomorrow. A lot going on. We have a list of all the places opening up tomorrow. Just head over to our website, ktnv.com. Well, getting to know the man who sparked the nationwide protest happening right now this morning, we hear from George Floyd's little girl, his 6-year-old daughter. And Nevada's primary election is just 6 days away. We'll break down everything you need to know for this year's mail-in ballot election. Plus, local casinos getting ready to welcome back guests. We take you inside the Suncoast Hotel and Casino to show you how they plan to reopen safely tomorrow.
We've got temperatures outside that are going to be quite hot over the next few afternoons. 104 today, 107 tomorrow, 102 on Friday.